On the last video, you learned about the 4 different magnetic gaze components, what they are, and how to identify them. And just to summarize, you learned about the eye training on how you develop different gaze types and work on your eye muscles so that they are ready to be used with a higher amount of charge. Then you learn about energy training to give power to your gaze. Then the will training to force your connection to the true power inside so that you can later on project the energy. And finally, the mind training, where you train the different types of mind faculties that are required to use with the magnetic gaze. The most obvious one is, of course, the concentration and attention, but it's not the only one. Now, how do they all work together? Although the magnetic gaze seems like magic, it's very far from it. Actually, the brain is the engine of the magnetic energy and this power that you gain in the eyes. So let's think about this more carefully. First of all, there's a very muscular training with the eyes, just like bodybuilding for your eyes. When you train your physical fitness, you do it to become stronger. It's the same here with your eyes. You are going to send them a big amount of energy and they will be required to work much more than they did before. It's only logical that you need this physical training. This is similar to having a desk job and now going to work in building stuff in construction sites. Either you get physically ready or your body will suffer until it gets used to it. Yet, it's not the only thing. Why do some people look at some random object or scenery and see a radically different thing than you or me? In fact, if I look at someone talking, most likely I'll see something and someone different than if you are looking at it. Your brain handles what you see and how you see it. By training the different gaze types, you're not only doing the necessary physical fitness, but your brain is learning new ways of using your eyes. Using your eyes not just unconsciously, as you've been doing all your life, but in a whole new way. Like, for example, learning how to use them as spies do it, learning how to use them with full-blown emotions from behind, learning how to use them in a powerful way, and so on. The energy fits into this very, very well, since this tension energy gives you the necessary charge, the necessary fuel to gain all this power in the eyes. And although we develop this tension energy via several different types of exercises, some people don't even need it, since they already have it in its natural form. Although these people are rare, and most likely they wouldn't want to have the magnetic gaze training anyway, even though it will bring them power to the next level. This energy can be generated naturally. It's just not that easy. So with the exercises, we are tapping into its natural reservoir and bring it out. We are teaching your brain how it can generate and use this energy and what is being energetic, what exactly is having a magnetic presence in your body. Most likely, you have never felt this before, or if you did, it wasn't using all your awareness. With this training, you now understand the magnetic feeling in your body, and you can channel it to your eyes through the different gaze types. It pulls this tension energy into your eyes, making them magnetic. How do you pull this energy to your eyes? I'm sure you all heard the saying in all sorts of energy disciplines that says, energy flows where your attention goes. As you train your attention, your concentration, your overall mental attitude, active state, and so on, it becomes very easy to focus on where you want to focus, bringing this energy into where you want to. Now you may ask, but how about if you bring this energy into your voice? Would it create a magnetic voice? And the answer is yes. Naturally, the same way that you train your gaze types, there is a whole lot of other types of training for the voice, but the overall principle will be the same. The magnetic gaze is nothing more than bringing your focused thoughts into the eyes and making them a vehicle for your own will. It's easy to understand in principle, much harder to put into action. Since, as you've seen, you need the physical development, the energy development, the will development, and the mental development. But once they are all into place, you have a very powerful tool at your disposal. Let's compare the magnetic gaze to the driving experience. We can understand the gaze itself as the car, the moving vehicle that moves you from one place to the other. It can have a faster car, a slower car, a more beautiful or an ugly one. Yet, it gets the job done. The car moves with fuel, and without fuel, the car just stays put. The fuel is the tension energy. It allows the car to move. Then you have the driver, which is the mind. The driver needs to train his reflexes and his awareness and a whole lot of cognitive skills so that he doesn't bump into any other cars and can control the road ahead of him and is attentive to the road and so on. This is the mind, and the mind training of skills like attention and state management. Then finally, we have our will, which is the direction. Where do you want the car to take you? This must be firmly established in your mind, otherwise you may end up in the other side of town. All these components work in a web of interrelations that connect everything in a perfect way. As long as all the components are there, you cannot miss it. With my private students, if there's some problem getting the magnetic gaze to work, I go one by one, checking all the components until I understand where is the problem. And then it's much easier to fix. Fortunately for us, the magnetic gaze works very similar to riding a bicycle. Once you gain the awareness of the energy, the gaze and the magnetism, it can stay with you forever. As long as you use it in your daily life and you take the appropriate lifestyle setup, the magnetism can auto-regenerate itself. So not only you maintain your power, but you can also increase it just by daily life use. To start developing your gaze, take a look at the Magnetic Gaze Level 1 Foundations course at magneticgaze.com. See you soon.